One. We're back to the Neil Haley Show and special simulcast of the Love Is podcast. I'm excited to welcome first my co-host, Kim Sorrell. Kim, how are you? And I know you're excited about our guest.
I'm doing great, Neil. And yes, very excited to introduce Katherine Warnock. Katherine, we have met before, and it's always such a pleasure to meet you. Vice President of Original Content of the best show that is out there, The Chosen, that is in theaters now and has done so much, but you've done so much in your life. Like, this isn't your first rodeo. You were head of family and content for MGM Studios and did incredible things there. You've just been this trailblazer, this leader in great entertainment, great content entertainment. I appreciate you attend. Katherine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a highlight of my day.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that. So I have tickets actually for 2 hours from now to go to The Chosen. And it wasn't easy to get the tickets. Well, I mean, it was easy. I went online, but they're selling out. They're selling out. I mean, what are you experiencing with The Chosen being released right now?
I mean, we're seeing history being made. We're the first television show in history to release a full season in theaters. It's never been done before. So we have a lot of fun just like intentionally disrupting, but from a place of, no, we're a brand that gathers. This is a show that is deserves to be watched, not on the big screen, of course, but also together. And so just seeing people laugh and cry together. I mean, every season, I'm convinced The Chosen gets funnier and funnier. And this one does not disappoint. But it's exceptional to do it in community. And I can't wait to hear what you think, Kim.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Wow. And I think that the whole season released, that it's the ones that want to see it first, right? It's almost like, we can watch a replay, but no, we want to be part of this community that gets to see it together. And I think that's the big thing, is community is The Chosen, right? And and people have copied your blueprint after that fact, for sure, of what you guys were able to do.
Yeah, I don't think people know just how ingrained into our core identity gathering is, Neil. And so we're watching, even just in the backroom chats of Hollywood, just a lot of questions of, how do you do it? How do you gather this community aspect of content creation we've never explored before? So we're seeing a bit of a renaissance in that area. It's exceptional.
Well, everything that The Chosen has done has kind of been groundbreaking and new territory, and it's working. And I know that the goal, I believe, is 600 languages to be out in. I've got a friend who, Alex, who maybe, I don't know if you know him, but anyway, with Collide Media, who is promoting that and trying to get that done. And I think that is such an ambitious goal, but everything The Chosen has done has been big, ambitious goals, like kind of like God's in charge. The sky is the limit. And so I love that. But how do you keep that going season after season?
An amazing team, amazing leadership, and a very clear vision of what we're here to do. We're here to make an exceptional historical drama about the life of Jesus, and the world needs to meet the authentic Jesus. And so we're unabashed in talking about that. We're unabashed in saying that. And the goal of 600 translations, 600 languages, just backs that up. To us, it's just a no-brainer. And we have an amazing partner in the Come and See Foundation, who are just taking that head on and making it their top priority. So it's a good day to be alive.
No, it's definitely. And where do you go from here, right? What's next?
A lot of really fun things that we'll be talking about in the coming months, but we really do hope to we're intentional about this not being the end of our story, that we have some things in development that we think will be really fun and really impactful to the world. So watch this space. We're just getting started.
Yeah, chances are they will be very impactful and very successful and do exactly what you want them to do. So I love the characters of The Chosen. So we read in the Bible about Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Peter, whoever, but then seeing them brought to life in such an authentic, cool, wonderful way. I love that. I love that each character is definitely their own personality, their own person. And you see there's conflict between them. they're actual people. They were actual people back in the day with Jesus. They're not just guys walking around with halos over their heads going, yeah, I love everybody, right? And how important is that to demonstrate that in The Chosen?
The whole premise of The Chosen is this historical drama about the life of Jesus, but through the eyes of those that knew him best, those that lived day in and day out with him during his ministry. And it's extraordinary to watch them be humans, as you've mentioned. And so for me, as a fan of the show first, I walk away going, oh my goodness, because God has ingrained in me this idea of, Katherine, you have permission to be in process. You have permission to be on a journey with me. And I don't feel like that's a cadence and a response that the church is very historically embracive of. So to see a show, so I always kind of felt like a bit, oh, monkey in the middle, a little odd man out, because I was like, do I have permission to be in process? God is telling me I do if I'm intentional about him, but the church, I'm hearing different messages sometimes. So as a young Christian, that was hard for me. God speaks that to me, and then I see it portrayed in The Chosen. I see this continual reinforcement of just follow me, and you have permission to be in process. You have permission to let me take you from glory to glory, as he tells us in scripture. So I love that about The Chosen.
It sounds like it for sure. Well, how are their meetings? They got to be some pretty exciting meetings every time you guys are brainstorming ideas.
So okay, so I've worked in Hollywood for 20 years at this point, and we all know that it's not all you conflict isn't always welcome. Like pushing against the grain isn't always welcomed. It's incredibly welcome to The Chosen, and that's from the top down. That's Dallas going, push against me. Like, I want the best ideas, I want the fullness of wisdom to rise to the top. And so our meetings are beautifully peaceful, collaborative, but also really like we're jockeying for the fullness of what is it, like what is the correct way forward. And it can't just be what one human brain thought up, right? It's this collaboration of the body coming together and really putting their, as Dallas always says, loaves and fish into the mix. So very peaceful, very collaborative, but also very intentional.
That's, yeah, which is great. And it goes back to what we started talking about at the very beginning of this, community.
Yes.
So you're in community together, trying to come up with the best of the best of the best that you can possibly do. Everybody that I've had a chance to interview from The Chosen, they all say the same thing. And I know that they're sincere about it. And that is that cast and crew, Christian, non-Christian, doesn't matter. But there's a whole different feeling with this particular cast and crew, that people are just happy to be there, connected. And it's like one big family. Is that what you experience?
Oh, incredibly so. And it's to the point where we have crew members being asked to join Marvel productions or really elite productions, and they turn them down, and they would be making more money if they accepted it. But they go, no, I want to stay in The Chosen. Like, the culture here is unlike anything I've known, or I've never felt so just permission to be myself. And just I feel so loved here. Or just even like Paul Ben Vector, who is in season 4. You'll see him today when you go, Kim. But he's obviously just a giant in Hollywood, like so respected. And he said, this is the most amazing set I've ever worked on, with the most amazing, like, I've never experienced anything like this before. So there is truly a common theme of, no, this is really a collaborative effort. It's peaceful, it's joyful, it's like if you go at any time in between takes, they're joking around, they're making TikToks, they're playing football, they're playing frisbee. Like, the sweat you see on the actors is probably because they were just running around playing some sport 2 seconds before Dallas, calls action. So it's fun. It's really, really, really fun.
Yeah, it seems so much fun. And we always talk about next. You're not able, I know Kim's going in 2 hours. You've seen it. You're blown away, right? With season 4, right?
So because I'm a fan first. And so I'm like, you can't disappoint me. And season 3, I'm like, okay, where are we going from here? And every season, Neil, it's sharper. It's funnier. The laughs are louder. The tears are stronger. Like, so this season does not disappoint. I feel like we've reached a completely new level this season.
I have to tell you, Katherine, that it is hard for me to imagine the guys in their dress of the time, which basically are dresses, running around with frisbees in between takes. I love that picture, but it's kind of funny. And I it always goes back to leadership, right? Like the reason the culture is what the culture is because the leader and then the leader choosing the right people on down. And I know that Dallas's heart, to him, this is a calling. It's something he has to do, right? Not just something he wants to do, but something he has to do.
Oh, incredibly so. And I remember my first day on the job, we met as a leadership team and we said, okay, what are our core non-negotiables, core identity markers where we will never let go of these. This is who we are and what sets us apart. And one of the four is playful. And that was Dallas and Daryl going, we are playful. Like we're going to make fun of ourselves. We're going to let people make fun of us. We're going to just be playful. We're going to insert that into our dialogue in this series. And I think you see that come through, but yes, it's unbelievably the top down. And we, that was one of the greatest moments, I think, from our organization, our brand perspective of just like kind of putting those lines in the sand of going, we will not stop being these things. Even if success might come, we will not stop being these things. And playfulness was one of them.
And what could you see this? What are your predictions? Where can this go? You have the theater. Are there theatrical releases all over the world? Is it gonna go? Where do you think it's gonna go?
I mean, this season is proving to us that even us, it's like, oh, do we think too small sometimes of God, what you're capable of doing? But here we are rolling out globally, theatrically right now. Like we're just coming off a global premiere tour that's been exceptional. And so for us, we're going, okay, we're really pressing into wisdom, just going, okay, what are the right next steps? Like my whole job base is creating new original content for The Chosen, like exploring what could be potentially on the pipeline. So there might be some fun things in the works, Neil, that I'm not allowed to share
I know
yet.
you're not allowed to share. You're
But I
not
think
allowed
we'll
to
be
share
talking more.
the season. Good, Kim.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. From the very first season, things were good. I have to say that the very first episode, I kept thinking, where's Jesus? Like, what's going on here? Where's Jesus? And I kind of felt like for anybody who's not seen The Chosen yet, that I needed to get through that first episode and then looking back at it, I realized how so important it was to start at that place. And that first episode is vital to the rest of everything. And so the first season was fantastic. And then the second season, it's like, how can it be any better? And then the third season, it's like, how are they going to handle this? I'm always so interested, like, how are they going to have Jesus walk on water? How are they going to feed 5,000? What is this going to look like? And there's so much more to go through. This is season 4. There's going to be 7 seasons. So how do you up the ante? Like, how do you decide how Jesus is going to walk on water? How do you decide what Eden is like when she's not really described to us, right? When we know that Peter has a wife, but we don't know that her name is Eden. We don't know what she's like, and who doesn't love Eden? But how do you make decisions like that?
I mean, that's where the writers are just exceptional, and they really come together and they said they dive into scripture, they dive into it, they devour it. Ryan, our lead writer, he's just constantly in scripture and just meditating on what could be historically really happening in between the lines of scripture that are truly plausible, but yet fully anchored in alignment with scripture. And they just keep elevating their craft. And then Dallas, as a director, welcomes our cast into the mix and say, hey, evolve this. So, for example, Amber, who plays Tamar, she was only meant to be a day player. She was only meant to be in, one episode, one scene, one storyline. And it was just a no-brainer. Oh, she fits. Like, this is not only is God on this, but this character we need to give a second look at. And so there's this fluidity that Dallas as a director and the writers they hold things very loosely and they say, hey, let's let things be fluid and our cast can bring ideas. So in season 3, when Matthew drops the hanky after being reconciling with his parents, that wasn't in the script. That was Matthew feeling permission to just explore. And that is my favorite moment of season 3, is this moment where Paris, who plays Matthew, drops the hanky because he just said that, well, that's what Matthew would do, because they just so press into their craft. So I think it's just an elevation of craft throughout.
Wow.
Mm.
And there's so much more coming. When is the season going to be available for everyone else after season 4? Yeah.
We're working on that now. Obviously our heart and our hope is to get it out as soon as possible into the app, free for everybody. So we'll be announcing that soon. We're just finalizing a few things, but very soon.
All right.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if things end up staying in the theater longer than you expect.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Mhm.
Absolutely. Never know. Like, you were so surprised about season 3 and how sellouts. Let's see how many
Yes.
sellouts we're going to have again. So that's fantastic. People can check out the Best Places website, Katherine, for people to check out The Chosen. Where can they go?
Yeah. thechosen.tv, chosenriseup.com, that you can get tickets there.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks so much.
All right. That was a
Thanks,
special
guys.
simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Love Is podcast, guys. Take care.